CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is a type of psychotherapy that helps people identify and change destructive or disturbing thought patterns that negatively influence their behavior and emotions. It's like reprogramming your mind to think more positively and react more healthily to life's challenges. One of the core principles of CBT is that psychological problems are based, in part, on faulty or unhelpful ways of thinking. For example, if you're feeling pessimistic and unable to solve problems under stressful conditions, CBT can help promote more balanced thinking to improve your ability to cope with stress. CBT has been demonstrated to be effective for a range of problems, including depression, anxiety disorders, and post-traumatic stress disorder. In fact, numerous research studies suggest that CBT leads to significant improvement in functioning and quality of life. In many studies, CBT has been demonstrated to be as effective as, or more effective than, other forms of psychological therapy or psychiatric medications. Psychoanalysis is a therapeutic approach founded by Sigmund Freud in the late 19th century. It's all about exploring the unconscious mind, a part of our psyche that we're not usually aware of, but which Freud believed influences our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Psychoanalysis suggests that our childhood experiences significantly shape our adult lives. For example, a child who didn't receive enough attention might grow up to be an adult who constantly seeks approval. According to a paper published in the American Journal of Psychoanalysis, there's a current crisis in psychoanalysis in relation to its scientific and cultural environment. The paper proposes tasks to assure the survival and contributions of psychoanalysis as a science, profession, and humanistic discipline. It emphasizes empirical research in the boundaries with the neurosciences and social psychology, and the development of an infrastructure for research linked to its educational program. Gestalt therapy is a method which focuses on helping individuals understand the processes and structures by which we organize and interpret our perceived worlds. Gestalt therapy has evolved significantly since its early days with Frederick and Laura Perls, who focused on revising psychoanalysis. It has grown from its pragmatic roots into a grounded faith and process, and its phenomenological roots have evolved from awareness of current experience to appreciation for embodied cognition and the interpretation of experience. One of the key principles of Gestalt therapy is the concept of contacting. This refers to the meeting of the individual at the boundary with others in their environmental field. This principle has led to a more enriched understanding of relationships and a more complex understanding of causation in the organism-environment field itself. Systemic family therapy is an approach which views problems not as isolated events, but as part of a larger system, namely the family. Systemic family therapy believes that an individual's behavior is influenced by the dynamics of their family system. So, instead of focusing on the individual alone, this therapy involves the entire family in the healing process. Now, you might be wondering, does this really work? Well, according to American research, the answer is a resounding yes. Since the 1970s, numerous studies have consistently shown that systemic therapy is as effective as, or in some cases more effective than, individual therapy in improving mental health and relationship problems. For example, a meta-analysis of treatment outcome studies found that systemic therapy was effective in the short and long term in ameliorating mental health and relationship problems. These results are particularly important because they statistically synthesize the results of many outcome studies in a relatively unbiased way. Art therapy is a form of expressive therapy that uses the creative process of making art to improve a person's physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Art therapy is not about being a great artist. It's about expressing yourself and finding meanings in your creations. It's a safe space where you can explore your feelings and thoughts through art under the guidance of a professional art therapist. Research from the American Art Therapy Association has shown that art therapy can have a positive impact on people dealing with various challenges, such as mental illness, trauma, and even medical conditions like cancer. It's been found to be particularly effective in areas like outcome efficacy research, neuroscience, and cross-cultural/multicultural approaches. For example, One study showed that even a 45-minute creative activity can change a person's mental state and reduce stress and negative feelings. This shows the power of art therapy and how it can help us navigate through life's challenges. Integrative psychotherapy is an approach which is like a melting pot of psychotherapy, blending elements from different therapeutic methods to best suit each individual's needs. In the vast landscape of psychotherapy, there are over 400 different approaches. These range from behavioral to cognitive to psychodynamic, and each has its unique strengths. But what if we could take the best parts of these therapies and integrate them? That's exactly what integrative psychotherapy aims to do. One of the key principles of integrative psychotherapy is flexibility. Rather than sticking rigidly to one approach, therapists adapt their methods based on the individual's needs, preferences, and the context of their situation. This tailoring of therapy has been shown to enhance treatment effectiveness. For example, a therapist might use techniques from cognitive therapy to help a client challenge negative thought patterns, while also drawing on methods from interpersonal therapy to improve the client's relationships. Research supports the effectiveness of this integrative approach. A study in 2021 found that integrative psychotherapy was effective in treating bipolar disorder, using a combination of psychoeducation, mindfulness, and cognitive and functional enhancement. Behavioral therapy is based on the idea that our behaviors are learned and can therefore be unlearned or reconditioned. Behavioral therapy is a broad term that encompasses several types of therapy, including cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and dialectical behavior therapy, DBT. These therapies have been shown to be effective for a range of problems, including depression, anxiety disorders, alcohol and drug use problems, marital problems, eating disorders, and severe mental illness. Behavioral therapy is all about changing our thinking patterns and behavioral patterns. For instance, it might involve learning to recognize one's distortions in thinking that are creating problems, and then to reevaluate them in light of reality. On the behavioral side, it might involve facing one's fears instead of avoiding them. Psychological counseling, also known as counseling psychology, is a specialty within professional psychology that uses a broad range of practices to help people improve their well-being, prevent and alleviate distress and maladjustment, resolve crises, and increase their ability to function better in their lives. It focuses on normative lifespan development, with a particular emphasis on prevention and education. Counseling psychologists focus on the strengths and healthy aspects of their clients, whether they are individuals, couples, families, groups, organizations, or communities. They consider environmental and contextual influences, such as cultural, socio-political, gender, racial, ethnic, sexual orientation, and socioeconomic factors that shape people's experiences and concerns. For example, the Journal of Counseling Psychology publishes empirical research in the areas of counseling activities, including assessment, interventions, consultation, supervision, training, prevention, psychological education, and advocacy. This research often focuses on clients who are not severely disturbed, who have problems with living, or who are experiencing developmental crises. Psychological counseling is a vital field in psychology that aims to improve the mental health and well-being of individuals and communities. It uses a variety of techniques and approaches, grounded in empirical research, to help people navigate life's challenges and reach their full potential. Humanistic Therapy. This approach emphasizes the individual's capacity for self-fulfillment and growth. It focuses on the present rather than the past, and on conscious thoughts more than unconscious thoughts. Techniques such as client-centered therapy, developed by Carl Rogers, fall under this category. Existential Therapy. This therapy focuses on free will, self-determination, and the search for meaning. It is centered on the belief that inner conflict within a person is due to that individual's confrontation with the givens of existence, such as death, freedom, isolation, and meaninglessness. Dialectical Behavior Therapy, DBT. Although mentioned briefly under behavioral therapy, DBT is a specific type of cognitive behavioral therapy that combines strategies of acceptance and change. It was originally developed to treat borderline personality disorder, but has since been adapted for other conditions. Narrative therapy. This approach focuses on the stories that individuals construct and live by, and how these narratives can be reauthored for therapeutic benefit. It emphasizes the separation of the person from their problems. Solution-focused brief therapy, SFBT. SFBT concentrates on finding solutions in the present time and exploring one's hope for the future to find quicker resolution of one's problems. This therapy focuses on what clients want to achieve rather than on the problem S that made them seek help. Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, MBSR, and Mindfulness-Based Cognitive Therapy, MBCT. These therapies incorporate mindfulness practices to help individuals focus on the present moment in a non-judgmental manner, aiming to reduce stress and prevent the recurrence of depression. Psychodynamic Therapy. While psychoanalysis, as described, is a precursor to psychodynamic therapy, modern psychodynamic approaches are less intensive and less frequent. They focus on unconscious processes as they are manifested in a person's present behavior. The goals of psychodynamic therapy are self-awareness and understanding of the influence of the past on present behavior. Transactional Analysis, TA. This approach focuses on interactions between individuals, analyzing the social transactions to determine the ego state of the communicator, whether parent-like, child-like, or adult-like, as a basis for understanding behavior.